commandments. Why? Man can't tell me nothing about this coke. Can't tell me nothing about this crack, this weed.
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So as you guys see over here, it's a little Glock case. Inside, another little Glock. So I knew I said I wasn't gonna get another Glock because I had all the 3 Glocks I needed, but I went to Brunel's yesterday and I just saw like a good deal I couldn't pass up. So what I get? Another 19. Boom. But this 19 is a Gen 3, and it's kind of Cerakoted in kind of like a purple. It's kind of like a purple. I don't know what type of purple that is, but it looks pretty dope. I thought it looked pretty cool, so I got this gun for a stupid cheap price. I just, I never seen a Glock that cheap. This gun ran for $280, and I'm like, all right, I can't pass that up, man. When do you see a 19 Gen 3 in good condition? All clear, by the way. In this condition, when do you see a gun like this going for $280? So it's just a deal I couldn't pass up. It was barely used, it was barely used, barely shot. There's like no scuffs on the frame. As you guys can see, it's pretty much a new gun. Whoever had this gun took pretty good care of it, or probably didn't even shoot it. They probably just got it Cerakoted and just left it in the safe or whatever. But you can always tell if a gun has been shot a lot by the barrel up here. If it's like all like scuffed up and the paint's coming off, you could tell by right here. You could tell by the guide rod. Sometimes you put your finger in it, if it's like really black. I mean, you could clean that, but I mean, you can mostly tell by the barrel wear. And also, before I shot it, I took apart the gun. Damn, I forgot I can't take it apart, but the internals of the gun are pretty much new. This whoever had this gun barely shot it, so I thought it was a good deal, man. It's a Gen 3. I never had a Gen 3 19 before, and the reason I got this gun was because first of all, the price, and second of all, I was just thinking about carrying a firearm with just iron sights. I kind of miss plain old iron sights, not gonna lie. It's just simple, it's simple carrying a gun like this. Stock 19 with literally nothing on it except a Surefire, and it's just overall a good gun. So another thing I like about the 19 Gen 3s is that there's so many aftermarket parts. I believe more than the Gen 5. So many for the Gen 3s. You get new triggers, new slides for cheap, new barrels, new pins. This is a super wide variety of aftermarket for the Gen 3 specifically. And a lot of people have been saying that like Gen 3s were the prime time of Glocks. So I do want to go out and shoot this one and see if I feel a difference between this one and my 19 over here, Gen 5. So obviously the weight difference is stupid different. This one has everything on it: a mag well, 30 barrel, a whole sun. So it's easier to carry a lighter gun like this. And I could also take everything off this gun, but I don't want to. I like this 19 specifically built like this. This is my primed out type of 19 build, so I wouldn't change anything about this 19. But sometimes you just want to carry something a little bit lighter. You still want a 19. You don't want to go down to 43X or 26, and all you got to do is put this in your holster. Over here I got the MSP, fits perfectly, and you got a solid gun right here, man. I've been seeing Bobby Dynamite. I see he got 2 19s as well, and one of his 19s is like tricked out, kind of like mine, and then he has another 19 that's just bone stock, not even a light. I believe all he changed was the sights, and that's all he rocks. So I usually just like putting Surefires because I already got like 3 holsters that are compatible with my Surefires, and I think weapon lights are still kind of useful, especially at night. I believe they're useful. Or you can also use them as like a distraction. You can, if you ever had to pull out your gun, you turn that light on, whoever you're pointing it at, they're gonna be blinded instantly. Because X300s, TLR1s, they're they throw a lot of candela lumens out, so they easily blind whoever you're trying to, you know, defend yourself from. So solid gun right here. Like I said, Gen 3 19, and the conditions in is basically new. You know, it's a deal I couldn't let go, man. Like, I never seen a Glock for this cheap. Even the guy at the counter, he was like talking to his coworker. He's like, is that the price on this gun, 280? And then the other dude was like, yeah, I mean, if that's what it says. And in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking, like, I hope I hope they don't change the price on this 19, because whoever put that price on it, they probably messed up, because these guns, you know, it's hard to find these guns for anything less than $400, even used. You know, it's rare to find them less than $400. So I'm glad I did find this one, and it's solid, like I said. And obviously it's not MOS cut up here, which is fine, because I got my 19 over here with the MOS cut with a Hull Sun, a tricked out 19, then we got a stock 19, you know. And just for EDC, it's more comfortable, you know. And these finger grooves over here, I see some YouTubers, they say that they don't like this, or I've read reviews that people don't like this, but personally, I love this, man. This feels good on my hand. It fits my fingers perfectly. It feels like it goes right into the grooves. I get some people, you know, they got different size hands, and some people can't fit these, but for me personally, you know, that's a solid grip on the gun, you know. Arguably, I like it better than this one, than this type of grip, because this one I feel like it slips a little if without the magwell. If I actually tighten my grip, I feel like my pinky starts slipping over here. You know, I tighten my grip and it's not going anywhere. So the texturing on the Gen 3 over here is a little bit more slippery, which is fine, because this is the part that rubs up against your stomach when you're carrying a gun. And I like it to be smoother, because if it's too rough, it starts digging into your skin and all that, and I don't really like that. So this is pretty much the way I'm gonna carry this gun. This gun's solid, like I said. Over here, you got the 15 round stock mag. And the good thing is that Gen 5 magazines and you know, Gen 3 magazines, they're compatible. They're interchangeable with each other. So I got a bunch of magazines for the Glock 19, Glock 17s. So I don't need to change I don't need to go ahead and buy more parts, more mags, none of that. And it works. So, and also the trigger on this gun, it's freaking good. Look at this. That's the wall. Break. Reset. Break. I don't know if, see, look, wall, little bit of creep, break. That's a good trigger, man. That's a good trigger. It's like perfect for you know, EDC. It's not too light, not too heavy, but you know when it's gonna break. You don't have to like anticipate or nothing. You already know as soon as you pull that trigger, it's gonna break right there whenever you need it to. So good little EDC option right here. Like I said, I also have this Ruger RXM slide. This was like a spare slide that I just been, you know, having laying around. But obviously, if you guys know about the Ruger RXM, they're compatible with Gen 3s. So if I want to, I could literally just swap the slides, and then I could have this set up over here, which is like that. This is kind of like my test slide. I kind of like switch optics on this slide and see which one I like. Over here right now, I got the Goatar. This one was sent to me by obviously Goatar. They wanted me to make a review on it, and honestly, I just never got to doing it because they're pretty cheap, man. I wouldn't if you're gonna spend like $80-$90, I'd just say save up a little bit more and just go with a Hull Sun or something, you know, a little bit better branded name, because these optics are kind of cheap. You know, if you drop it, it's pretty much gonna dent really bad, or it's gonna break. So that's the only reason I didn't really want to promote this one. But I got it on here just for fun. I'm not really gonna EDC this slide. I'll probably just take it out to the range and have fun with it. But the stock 19 slide, you know, works perfectly fine. Got my OG sights on there. which I probably will end up switching out, probably with some Ameriglows or Trijicon sights, because I like night sights. You know, it just metal night sights and glow in the dark sights are way better than just these. Even though these work perfectly fine, you know, they're accurate, they're simple to use. You can never go wrong with some night sights. So, like I said, it's kind of Glocktober too. I kind of see people posting about, you know, Glocktober, getting new Glocks, this and that. And I wasn't even gonna hop on the bandwagon. Like I said on my last video, I was just talking about how, you know, you only need 3 Glocks. You know, that's all you need. And I still go by that. But the price on this, man, I just couldn't pass it up, man. You know, for $280, that was a steal. Like, I've never seen a Glock go for that low, especially in the condition that this is in. I'm like, I couldn't pass it up. So went ahead and bought it, and I'll be EDCing this gun a little bit more now than this gun, because not gonna lie, this is the perfect setup for me for a 19, but it does weigh a little bit now. You know, it does have put some weight on your waistline. So carrying something like this is just so much more simple. You know, if you ever need a gun, boom, you pull this bad boy out, and you're good to go. You know, you don't need a freaking holostone. You don't need a red dot on your pistols. Those are just, you know, add-ons. You know, they do help. Not gonna lie, they do help you shoot better and stuff. But I feel like if you ever had to pull your pistol out and actually use it, you're instinctively gonna shoot. Especially if you're like well trained, you're instinctively. It's like pointing at something. You know, when you wanna point at something or be like, that's over there. You literally just point at it, and your point of sight is perfectly on. It's kind of like a pistol. You know, when you want to point at something, when you want to aim at something, especially if you're doing it quick, you literally just point and you're kind of on target. Even if it's not super accurate, your natural point of aim is just pretty much spot on sometimes. And well, most of the times, honestly, not gonna lie. So that's why I feel like iron sights are still good to go. You know, you're never gonna beat just plain old iron sights either, man, because they have no battery. They're not gonna die on you. They're reliable, and you know, you don't gotta worry about nothing cracking, nothing about something getting stuck on your shirt when you're trying to quick draw. You know, it's just kind of another obstruction when you're EDCing a gun. But you know, like I said, I've been EDCing this gun for like 2 years, and it's worked perfectly fine. But sometimes just want something a little lighter, you know, something a little lighter. The same gun, just a different configuration of the gun, and that's it. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. Like, it's still a good gun, still basically the same gun, just a more simple type of build, I guess you could say, because it's just stock. All I did was just put a X300 Surefire, and it's good to go. And as you can see over here, it also fits on my T-Rex arm holster. This holster, bro, I thought it was gonna be a waste of money a long time ago, because I bought it for my M&P carry comp, and ever since I sold that gun, I just thought it was a waste of money, because no other gun was gonna fit in here. But all my Glocks ended up fitting in here, thankfully. So I'm able to use this holster, and it's been doing good. You know, it's been doing good. It's a good holster. Fits all my Glocks that are compatible with the X300, and I just rock it like that. You know, simple little EDC right here, man. Nothing special. Nothing special. It works. It's reliable, and you got a gun on you. So that's all I wanted to say, really. But now I got 4 Glocks. You know, I got this one over here. Let me put this away real quick. These are the Glocks I got now, man. I got 4. So 4 Glocks over here. And like I said, you know, 2 of them are rocking irons, and then 2 of them are rocking dots. That's good as well. You know, not all your guns need dots. I used to always do that, put dots on all my guns. You know, as soon as I buy a gun, I go ahead and buy a dot with it. But you know, like I said, irons work just fine, especially if you want something simple, just to EDC. Nothing too fancy, nothing crazy. A bone stock Glock that you know is gonna work. You know, and it's crazy too. You know, because like, the people that have usually tricked out guns like this and carry it, like, yeah, they look nice, this and that, whatever, but something about a freaking stock Glock just kind of hit different sometimes. you know. And like I said, I've been seeing Bobby Dynamite's channel, and he's just been you know, flexing his stock 19, and I'm like, yo, that kind of look nice, man. Like, just having a stock gun again. That's how I started, you know. When I started my Glock journey, I basically just had a stock, you know, Glock with an X300. I mean, I had a TLR1, and I was just rocking it like that, you know, and it was working perfectly fine. Never had an issue with it. It just simplifies things, you know. Instead of having all these other pieces, all these other different things on your gun, you literally just got a stock gun that you know is gonna work, and that's it. Beautiful freaking gun right here, man. This is a goat, man. This is a goat right here too. You know, I was always iffy about the older models, but you know, now that I got this bad boy in my hand, I'm liking it. You know, I'm liking it a lot, and I am curious to see how it's gonna shoot against my 19 Gen 5. I'm gonna take both of these out, and I'm gonna put them head to head and see which one is better. Because some people say that the Gen 3s were like the prime time of Glocks, and some people just like the Gen 5s better. I do want to, you know, shoot them back to back and see which one's better, which one shoots better, or if they're just shoot identical. But I know that this one has a different guide rod and spring than this one. You know, this one has like a single spring, this one has like a double spring. So I wonder if that has anything to do with the recoil or the shooting. But I don't know. I'll see if they shoot, if one shoots better than the other. But I think they're gonna shoot pretty similar because they're both still Glock 19s. So, like I said, new Glock pickup over here. I don't regret it, you know, because like I said, you can't find this freaking gun for anything less than 400 nowadays. And you know, to get this gun for 280, that's just a steal, man. I couldn't pass that up, and I had to get it. So there you go, guys. Just wanted to show off my new little 19 pickup for Glocktober, and that's it, man. I'm gonna start carrying this gun a lot more, and probably my next 2 videos. I got 1 video that I'm planning, but the video after that, I'm probably just gonna go ahead and take these both out before it starts getting cold over here, shoot them back to back, and see which one's actually the freaking king. You know, the Gen 3s or the Gen 5s. I'm curious about that too. I never shot a Gen 3 and the Gen 5 back to back. So, and I'll be honest, you know, if the Gen 3 is better, if it shoots better, if it feels better, then it is what it is. But you know, the Gen 5s are still the new king these days because they're the newest model. So there you go, guys. Little video, like I said, and hope you guys enjoyed this. Stay tuned for my next videos, and peace out.